This is lesson number 10 in the D book. This week we are doing Amigos out of the lesson book. This is page 13. And we're also doing the group 5A on page 6 out of the technique book, which helps us with, we're practicing the skill of moving from C position to high G position. And then we're moving up an octave. So we're in C position again, but one octave higher. And then we're also going to be moving way down to C position, one octave lower. So we're doing that. To look at this music, we have a slur to the end of the measure. Then between these two is not legato, and we're going to practice this next week. I want them to get their fingering down and get the timing right on this, but next week when we do this again, we're going to be perfecting this area because this is not legato between the end of the slur and the staccato. Sometimes we have a slur that takes you all the way to the staccato, so you slur it and then you come up on the staccato, and it's a really easy move. This is a little bit more, and so I'm going to be really working on their ears. I want them to be able to hear this and to get their fingers to do what we want their ears to hear, which is hear that there is a tiny space between these two notes, because this is legato, but that is not. But that's a staccato. So even though this is shorter, this one is not staccato. So they're going to still play this legato with this note, but not connect it to that one. It sounds very picky. It really, really is very, very picky, but we're starting to get a lot more technical now that we're up to the fourth book in this course. And so then they're going to jump up to G here. As they play these measures and they're about to jump, they're going to want to memorize this a little bit more because their eyes are going to go back and forth. You'll notice that this doesn't appear to be legato because the slur is gone. I believe that they meant for this to also be played legato with a slur. They just did not print it in because this says both hands one octave lower. So they've got some instructions here, and I think they're just trying to keep the book from looking less messy since this is for very young students. So let's go ahead then and keep the style of legato to the end and just play it the same way. At the very end, you'll notice our little half eyeball there, or you have the kids notice it looks like an eye. That's fermata. That just means that you hold it down a little bit longer. It's the idea that at the end of a song, you slow down at the very end and let it drift away a little bit. That's what we're doing here with just this one note. This one note's held slightly longer. So they'll feel that just a little bit. And then the technique book, well, let's just play this one first so that you can hear it. So it's like this. Your child is going to want to scoot around the board. Please don't let them do that. They need to stay put, and what they need to do is lean. They can reach it if they lean, and that's really the best way to do it. There's nothing that looks, I don't know, tackier, I guess, than a child that is scooting up and down the keyboard. Let's not do that. So, okay, we're going to get used to leaning. So with this, we're going to do the same thing where we're going from C to G, and then we're going to do C position again, but it says both hands one octave higher. I can't tell reading this if they want both hands all the way to the end of the line, or if they just want it to the end of the phrase. And this almost looks to me like it needs to go back to the way it's written. I can't tell. There's not enough marking here. So I am going to make the decision that this is one octave higher, but this is not. I want your child to play this as written. The reason why is because what we're doing is jumping up, up, up. But in all of this, except for at the very end of the Amigos song, we're not practicing moving back down. And I want to get their eyes trained too, that they can identify the keyboard, the landmarks on the keyboard, moving their hand back down an octave. So this one is played as is, and the whole piece sounds like this. They might want to play it a little bit faster, and that's okay because they've got some half notes here that give them a little time there to be able to look ahead and get it right. And they can look at their hands while they do this. notice right there, it ends. This last measure sounds like this. So it ends a little bit differently. And there's no repeat. So once they've done that, they've got that. Start with this one at home first, and then play the Amigos song. And with the paperwork, there's 2 things here to do today, or to do this week. In the past, you've heard me say many times to parents, do the paperwork as it works into your life. It's a super great thing to be able to do it right on time, right on schedule. Don't procrastinate it. It's a wonderful supplement, and it really is. And I try to provide this for you, and so that you don't have to actually buy the note speller books. You don't have to buy the theory books. I would rather just provide it to you to use as you like. It's not terribly crucial, but it will really help your child have a very strong background if they do it. But I know sometimes it just doesn't get done, or it gets procrastinated way beyond when we're actually doing it, and then it's no use to us really. But this one, I would like for you not to throw this one out. This is the one I would like for you to really do. I want your child to get some brains into this one. As you're looking at this, what they're asking you to do is just tell what position it's in. I want to take this a step further. I want to have your child sit and study this music. I want them to look and say, okay, if C is the same in all of these, what position am I in? And I want them to write in the finger number for the first one. Determine what is the best finger number for this. What is the best finger number for this note? And what's the best finger number for this? It might be 1 and it might be 5. That's their only choice. But if they think about it, they may even want to play air piano and practice it and see what it feels like. So what would this be? And if they were to play this in the air, what finger number would that be? It kind of gets them, it's going to help to transition them a little bit into letting go of these positions and determining what finger numbers you're going to need, because that's what we do with our own music. Once we've gotten through our method books, we take a piece of music and our fingerings may or may not be there, and a lot of times fingerings are not there because adults have such different size hands. My hands are much smaller, and I don't have as far a reach on this hand as adults, as men do, as like an adult male would. His fingering would be very different than mine. I have to really come up with what is the best fingering for me to be able to play. And so this is the beginning of having your child think about that. What finger would I use, instead of thinking, what position is this in? And here they're asking you to write in the notes. So the middle one, I will tell you, the middle one is your 3rd finger. So as long as they can place this one as the 3rd finger, they can write the notes down and up from these. So this is the lowest, this is the highest, this is the lowest, this is the highest. They can do that. And then I would like for you to have the child write in the finger numbers here too. In the treble clef, they're all going to be the same. In the bass clef, they're all going to be reversed as well. They're going to be different in the bass clef too. These are going to be the same, and these are going to be the same. But have them do that too. It's going to be hard. They're going to have to really think about it. You may have to help them think about what it means. Back on this one too, down here, if we have any holes in our learning, they're asking you to write in the bar lines just to refresh our memory about how rhythm works. 4 beats per measure, so they want you to count it out to determine where you would put the bar lines. These eighth notes are a half a beat, so this would be 2 beats. There's a beat, that makes 4. The bar line would go here, and then for the next 4, the bar line goes here after the half note. Then the next bar line is after the 4 eighth notes here. And then you have your double bar line that looks like that finishes. So that's this week. Have a good one.